My name is Ray Cabello, and I was born and raised here in San Antonio. And my day job is essentially designing tools and websites, for the internet. And a passion of mine that I do outside of that is collecting rare Soul 45s, specifically from the 50s and 60s, and even more specific than that, around the San Antonio, Central Texas, South Texas region. That's been a big focus of mine for, I would say, 12, 13 years. Where I grew up in the neighborhood and the Latin heritage, where I come from, oldies is what they're called here in San Antonio, were a big part of my upbringing. Always in the background in celebrations, if it was a birthday party, if it was just some sort of gathering, there was a specific sound that was just lingering somewhere in the atmosphere of, and that consisted of, that time, not knowing who it was, people like Sonny Ozuna, the Royal Jesters, things like that were kind of lumped into this lowrider, oldies sound. I can play you a song that was the epitome of the San Antonio West Side Chicano soul sound in the 60s. By no other than, of course, the Royal Jesters. You play this at any dance or night, and you just see couples just kind of come together and. All I do is think of you. In the early 2000s, 2002, my grandfather was getting pretty sick. He was a musician in his younger days. He had his own conjunto group, played with a variety of people, put out some records on TVT, which is a San Antonio label here. So this is a record that was put out by my grandfather on TVT, Rayitos del Sol. And this is one of the records that my grandmother gave me when he passed. This is one particular tune that my grandfather put out a long time ago. He made conjunto music, which is, music derived from Mexico and mixed with a German polka music, and it's kind of mashed together through an accordion, and when he got sick, I was kind of given some artifacts from him, some heirlooms, so to speak, and some of them were his records. And in those records, there was just stuff that was sitting for a while that I had no idea really what it was. Just knew that they were his records. And I had a bunch of that stuff just sitting on it, in boxes, not really, again, as I say, not knowing what it was. And as I start to pay attention to that center label, you see a San Antonio address on there, Mickey and the Soul Generation, Sonny and the Sunliners, Royal Jesters, some of those groups. And as I play those records, and then I start to kind of grow fond of them, and then I kind of start to go through more and more and say, oh, well, I remember this when I was a kid. This was around, this is like a San Antonio song, not knowing that it was really from San Antonio.